okay. And thank you for tuning in and taking a moment from your busy schedule to tune in to us today. My father, I had said last week, my father was dying, and obviously he was in his last moment. So when I did that previous announcement on video, and Saturday morning, early in the morning, overnight, he passed, and so as to be expected, I cannot do much of anything. It's already bad enough with the effect of the accident we had about 2 years ago now, that we've always been struggling with for these past years, as I've been telling you oft throughout my videos. With the passing of my dad, it's just gone to, yes, everything has stopped. So pretty much I'm dead in the water as well. The engines have stopped and everything has stopped. So I wanted to get this out there so all you would know the reason that you haven't been seeing me much at all. I've been very quiet, and I guess mourning. We haven't buried my dad yet. It'll be next Friday in New York City. So I'm leaving in a few days to go to New York City, and to get that done, and then to help my parents. Is how you going? Yeah, thank you very much. And to get my mother get her started on moving her down to be with us, because this long distance scenario is really a bad thing. We can't keep an eye on our now our mother, and to be with her and make it easier to support each other, in terms of whenever something goes on. So I'll be doing that for the next 2-3 weeks. I won't be available online for at least another 3 weeks or so. Absolutely. And so that'll give me time to get at least over this circumstance, and then to get back. There's so many things that we need to get back on the tracks here. Not that they've been derailed, it's just everything's on pause. Every train's at its station, at its last station, and everything's just waiting and holding pattern. And for the next 2-3 weeks, that's the way it's going to stay. And it's worth it. I'm not complaining about that. Just letting you know. My old man is worth the suffrage here, and so that's plain and simple. Without him, I wouldn't be here, right? So that was that. And but on another thing, to get off of that, and I thank everyone, by the way, for your prayers and your good words and your sentiments, and all of that is very much highly appreciated, really, by me and the family, and so we thank you all for that. Now, getting on to some other updates while I'm on, I might as well talk about things that we've talked about in the past. One of those things is cryptocurrency. This is also being streamed on my YouTube channel, Global My CDH Network. And we had series there involving cryptocurrencies for a while. I think before before my laptop burned, it died on us. We had a crypto analysis thing going on and whatnot. But in one of those videos, or a few of them, I was always forecasting more or less a definite pattern with cryptocurrency, and particularly with Bitcoin. And it's interesting to know that we have to make note of it, that what I had I wouldn't call them predictions. There were certain forecasts that I made on the performance of Bitcoin in the near to far future. Well, not far, but the near future. I made certain calculations in those videos, and I am happy to say that I was right. Who wouldn't be? If you're right, you're right. So I'm going to blow my own trumpet. I was right. And I'm smiling because I was right. I know there's a lot of experts out there who are not too happy right now with what's happening with Bitcoin and whatnot. But you guys need to see my video. I mean, really, I know you guys are the experts, right? But I do have some. I'm known to have some acumen. There's something about me that I seem to get things right on the nose. Okay, so just let them know if you guys know of any that are right now they're trying to recover. That I had said that this was going to happen beforehand. There was a great expectation. Right now, as I'm doing this, what is this? We're over. The Bitcoin is down to 7,000 right now. 7,000, and what is the exact amount at this second? 7,978. It has gone down to 7,800 for a moment just this morning. And how far down can it go? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. How far down can it go? Well, actually, what's happening with Bitcoin, the nature of it, is that it's very highly speculative. I mean, it's not based on a use or application type of consideration. There are many considerations of it, but most of the valuation that you see in the market right now is really based on speculation or hype. The expectation that it will go up to astronomical levels, or even to double or to triple, is good enough for most folks, right, at this point, especially compared to what it's doing right now. Let me just check on that because I don't have a full staff right now. Hello, can I call you back? I'm on broadcast right now. All right, dear. Thank you, dear. Bye bye. Yeah, that was the funeral home, by the way, so I have to call them back. But in any case, it's interesting to note that most of it is speculative. And it's not to say that Bitcoin won't go up higher. It will. I'm saying it right now. It's going to go up high. It's going to do that because of the speculative nature of it, its longevity, its placement in the perception of value for those in the crypto market. It's going to go up. It has to. There's no way that it's not going to. The question is, of course, when. Um, and right now, I'm not going to tell you how low it's going to go. How low it can go is a simple question that anyone can answer for you simply. It can go as low as it ever was. This is a simple question. I'm going to have to disconnect the phone. All right, I'm sorry about that. I had a disconnect because now when I'm doing this, everyone wants to call. It was quiet all morning. So it's going to go as low as it ever was. So let me take a look. Let's take a look at that for a moment here. Let me show you that screen. Okay, and we're going to do the switcheroo. So as you can see in the screen, This is the price of Bitcoin right now. Right now it's only 7,282. Well, over here, um, it had gone down to 7,800 earlier today, around what was that, 8 in the morning or so. Right now, it's trying to go up, but you can see that you can expect it to go up at least twice is the pattern, as you notice here. At least twice it'll go up and before it collapses. And we have twice again here that it attempted to recover, and then it collapsed again, it goes down. We have twice again that it tried to go upward, or that it did go upward, but then we have a significant drop where it hit 7,800 at one point, and before, but it closed up higher at around 7,912, and then it's trying to stay up. It has gone down lower during this time period, this hour, down to 7,854 or thereabout, and that's the lowest that has gone in this hour. So again, everyone is probably hopeful that it goes up on one of these. Again, the pattern here is not looking too good. And what is the possible um, low that it can achieve? And it really can achieve a lifetime low. I would put it at about, let me see, there's if I can get it on this chart. I wasn't really going to do this, but I said I might as well try to do this here while we have the opportunity. And let me just try to find the you can see how low it is. The other time it was this low was back in June. Last year. I'm sorry, not last year, this year actually. It was back in June. So there is really no reason to believe that it cannot return to these levels, 7,402. I mean, we're almost there in that neighborhood already. This was an area of resistance previously in June, just a few months ago. So that it can come here is absolutely possible. That it should not be a problem for it to fall that way even today. But what I'm looking at is this low here of about in the 3,000s, which again, I'm not saying that it's going to end up there, but there's no reason really that it can't, which is the main thing that we have to think about. I'm trying to get the top screen for you. Hold on for a second. Let me return. Let me try that again. That didn't work out too well. One moment. Okay. And, well, there's no reason to think that it can't go down that far. Now, I don't. What I'm saying does not mean that you should wait for it to go down. If you're someone who's thinking about getting into a Bitcoin, for example, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just talking realistically. There's really no reason for Bitcoin not to descend further into the rabbit hole, if you will. There's nothing holding it up except for speculation, for people who believe that it would go up in value, really, because what other value is there with Bitcoin right now? Amén. Dios bendiga Taiwan. Gracias. What other reason is there for Bitcoin to to ascend. Um, what can people point to as an exact reason for its valuation, other than speculation? I mean, it's totally speculative. Not totally, but significantly so. So again, it would be different if it was based on some type of value, real world value, where people can say, well, at least if it was a dividend run, if there was some type of money, fiat money, or some commodity that was slowly a dripping of gold coinage or gold drippings, even dusting of gold that over time would build up, and then you would figure, over time, the value, the real value of Bitcoin is increasing. So, we have a reason for speculating, even. But with all the things, I just adoption, it's not. It just doesn't seem it's enough. It's like what difference does it make between you and I speculating on Bitcoin and an institution getting $1 million worth of Bitcoin or hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin? Does that make Bitcoin more valuable? Knowing that an institution is getting or purchasing Bitcoin, they're speculating too, aren't they? I mean, why do you think that because they are in putting money into Bitcoin that means somehow that Bitcoin now has more value? I mean, it's like, yeah, how much more is my value? I'm talking about Bitcoin. Professor Rosado is talking about Bitcoin. That means Bitcoin has more value now. We've added some mystical gold dusting to it. It gets silly. And it's not just Bitcoin. I see this in most of the cryptocurrency, especially the ones that people are expecting to be solid, or have good reason to believe are very solid, even more than Bitcoin. There are cryptos like XRP, for example, that has a great use to it. It has a medium of exchange that it's and that many are basing its value on. So you would expect that uh, that would be enough to raise the value, but we don't see it at all. If you look at XRP, for example, which is another chart. Let's see, do I have it here? There you go. My goodness. Yeah, XRP hasn't really moved. It's going down right now, but I'll show you that with the changing of the screen again. This is the screen for the chart, I should say, for XRP. And I'm sorry about that. We're doing the wrong thing. And as you can see, there has been really hardly a change. You see this big dip. I mean, we're talking the difference between 28 cents here and now a 23 that it hit for a moment. Again, 23 cents there. That's the difference that we're talking about. So, and it's been like that for some time, even with the latest news that we have seen of late. There isn't much any difference um, between the previous high and its present state. So it's sliding right now as well. Again, less doubtful that it will slide as much as Bitcoin, because there is a difference between Bitcoin and XRP. Like I said, XRP has more of a perceived value, even though the value isn't much. but it does have a perceived value because of its utilization. And really, right now, XRP has increased its value base, or its basis for value, in just this recent day or two. But has that affected its change? No, but I can tell you though, it's made it a little more stable right now at where it was, because it would also then be taking a deep dive as Bitcoin has, but it hasn't. XRP has demonstrated some resilience, and that's because it doesn't have any more. It doesn't have as much of a speculative valuation in it than Bitcoin has, and that Bitcoin needs, and that Bitcoin will enjoy in the future. Okay, so we're talking about two different animals here. The XRP has less air in it. It's more. It has more value, where it's valued more or less at its perceived value right now. While Bitcoin always was running on air, it was always running on gas, if you will, on speculation, which is what it was. It still is that, and most probably will always be that, more or less. So, unless there is a total change in the marketplace of Bitcoin, its utilization, and obviously the perception that people have concerning it. But that's a big mountain to climb. That's almost as a big mountain to climb as it getting up to 100,000 or a million. It's going to be a very steep climb to achieve that. And again, I'm not saying that it won't achieve it. I'm just saying that that's one big climb. It is a volatile and unstable crypto. Most of them are. But Bitcoin, really, if anyone has a right to be speculatively enriching, it would be Bitcoin over all the other coins. So if somebody's looking at taking a risk, and in something that is going to blow up high one day, it doesn't take much to reason that would be Bitcoin more than any other coin out there. But XRP, for example, I'm just taking these two examples as I've been studying them and studying the people that promote, or that you know develop informational content related to these two coins. XRP, however, although I see that they're trying to make the hype, but it's really, what goes contrary to the hype is really the reasonings they're presenting up to the hype. The more they present, the more it becomes, becomes clear that there's really no reason for having more hype on XRP than there already is. And one of the reasons I did present this in one of the comments I made on one of the content producers' videos, was that what does it matter in the use case? Because when you're looking at the reason for XRP, it doesn't matter that XRP is worth a quarter, or if it's worth $250,000, because the usage of its application, and therefore its value, is really not dependent on the price of it. So it kind of, and then what happens is that when you look at something like an XRP, you're thinking, why would anyone pay $1 million, or just, let's not go so fancy, just $10,000 on a coin that its real practical use, is not dependent on its value? because basically it's just an intermediary coin. In other words, XRP is just a medium of transfer. Basically, its basic use scenario, its use case, the purpose of the coin is to serve as an easy way to transfer money quickly, easy and quickly, so that it really doesn't matter the value of this medium. It's like having a cable simply. So the money comes in, goes through the cable, and is paid on the other side in whatever country fiat there is. That's all this does. That's all that XRP does. Of course, there's other technologies and things that make all this work, but then that's an issue for like Ripple. Ripple is the company that created this medium. So then that would be a case for investing in that company. But we're talking, that would be the stock market, right? But we're talking about crypto now. So in terms of crypto, though, what does it mean? It means nothing. You got a cable there. So it's a telephone line. So what was worth more, the telephone line or the telephone company? You got to think about it. It's like where would you invest your money? In the cable for the cable TV or in the cable company? You see? Now, yeah, the cable uses copper or whatever other metal. So maybe you want to invest in some metals like that create that. Maybe you should invest in the problem. You know what the real problem is with all this cryptocurrency? That they're not real coins. Because if they were real coins, then you would invest in the company that makes the real coin, or the commodity, copper, nickel, like the real world works. This is all digital. And because it's all digital, then all you're left with is speculation. It's just because of the way these coins are, the business model of these coins. Simply, that's all. So there's a little dishonesty, I think, in the community of valuation of cryptocurrency, and I think that what we're seeing or looking at is a divide. What's forming seems to be a divide between speculation and valuation, okay, or perceived value, and speculation. Okay, so and obviously Bitcoin is the king of speculation, and it will always be that way. And frankly, it's okay. That's okay that it be what it is. But I don't think XRP, although the people who promote XRP, they're trying to make it like this is better than Bitcoin and should be as speculative. They're asking people to be as speculative as the people investing in Bitcoin. But based on what? Based on the fact that it has more value than Bitcoin. Yeah, but it has a value, and that's the whole point. When you start saying that XRP has a value, then it has the value of what you're talking about. And right now, I mean, the real world value of XRP, let's say right now, the world is saying it's like a quarter. It's a nickel. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a quarter. I just said what it was. So that's pretty much where the valuation is at. There's very little hype, although they want to create hype, but because of the evidence presented, you see, I think what's happening is that they're trying to bring so much evidence for speculation that what they've been doing is providing all the evidence for non-speculation, for valuation, and the valuation in the marketplace is pretty much a quarter right now for what they said. I don't see any reason to speculate on XRP. Now, it doesn't mean that XRP won't go up to 10,000. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that based on the evidences that they've been promoting and hyping up, that evidence just shows you, wait, this is probably worth a quarter. on any stock exchange, it would be worth a quarter stock. It's not a penny stock, but a quarter. So that's basically what we're seeing with XRP. So all the evidence that's being promoted is really, I think, it's promoting and attracting a more stock-minded investor. And so they're saying that the real value of the stock is pretty much a quarter. It's basically what the consensus is, in my opinion. That's what I'm looking at. And there's very little speculation on it. There's a hope. It would be great, right, if this can go up. But even most of these investor in XRP probably has thousands of XRP, bought, purchase, or that's their plan. And if it goes up a few dollars in the long run, they've done well. That's a pretty darn good investment. So I think that is the investor they really attracted. The guy, they're trying to hype it. You're trying to attract an investor that is looking for speculative high returns in a short period amount of time, and it's the evidence that you're providing is not giving them that idea, because I think that idea, you're going against your own idea. It's not, that's not the way to do that. It's giving the wrong message to the target market that you're trying to reach. I think it's a mismatch in marketing. So I think that's what's happening with the XRP speculation want. You guys are not targeting your market correctly. You have provided so much reasons for XRP to be 25 cents. That's what you've done. It's working. Your hype is working. 25 cents. That's why you have it at 25 cents. So that is what's going on there. And it happens because, again, the different case use that the XRP is following a business model that really tends, because of its seriousness, it tends to then, okay, now we have to get serious. It's not BTC. BTC is not serious, man. There's nothing serious about Bitcoin. Just the speculation and the fear of missing out, FOMO. That's it. That's the seriousness of Bitcoin. Holy darn, I got to get into it, because if I'm not into it and it blows up, I mean, I would have missed. See, that's the only thing going on with Bitcoin. But XRP has something valuable going on with it that has some value. It has some value in the medium, okay? It has some value. But are we going to expect this to go up to 100,000, a million each coin? Why? The question is, why? See, but when you ask someone of Bitcoin, can Bitcoin in your wildest dream, could it make a million? Could it make 100,000? And most people will say, yeah, because people are like crazy, So you will give in Bitcoin the value of the potentiality based on people's craziness of investing in something that may go up so high in price. I mean, if anything, Bitcoin, the only thing happening with Bitcoin is that you're getting set up. Now, I don't mean that in a negative fashion. I mean it in a psychological fashion. Bitcoin is showing you what they're doing right now. Listen what's going to happen. And even there's people that have expertly commented that what's going on with Bitcoin is controlled or manipulated. And here's why I agree with that notion. Because what's happening, planned or not, intentionally or not, is that you're seeing Bitcoin go from 7,000 to 10,000. You're seeing it go, especially if it goes down. If Bitcoin goes down, I'm going to tell you right now, Bitcoin goes down further to 3,000. People say, oh, it's they listen. That's, people are going to do whatever they can to buy more Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, even at, I mean, you look at it, even at $3,000, $2,000, oh, Bitcoin collapsed again. See, Bitcoin. See, people are not gonna hear the reasoning behind why Bitcoin's not going to work. No, Bitcoin has already shown that it can go from a few dollars and even $2,000 and go up to 10 and 14. Okay, it can go up high, and there's no reason for it not to go up higher than that. So Bitcoin has already proven that it can do that. So that's all. Now, so what's happening now is, again, it's since Bitcoin has already proven that it can go up to 10, so the only game left for it is to knock it down and get more people to buy more Bitcoin. That's all. If more people buy more Bitcoin, there's more capitalization in the market, and then what will happen because it will happen. It's speculation is speculation. This is like automatic. It's always going to go back up. And so even if you had 1,000 Bitcoin in your portfolio, I mean, you look at how much money you're looking at. Okay, you're looking at every time this thing goes up a few $1,000s. Okay, you're talking about millions of dollars in profit here. Because that's what we're talking about. Right now, a millionaire with millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin easily is adding a few $1,000,000 each time the Bitcoin goes up and down, all that. And everyone else, all you poor folk out there are saying, oh, that Bitcoin, who can trust it? Put in, that's crazy, this and that. But all that craziness, they're making millions of dollars. So you got to understand what's going on here. These guys are making millions of dollars here. They're making money on Bitcoin hands over fist. This is some real money being had here. It's only the poor folk who are looking at it and say, oh, it's too volatile. I shouldn't get involved. Maybe I shouldn't get involved in this and that, whatever reasons. But the people who are in this seriously, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So again, they're not going to wait 30 years from today to make $1 million when Bitcoin gets up to $1 million. That's you poor folk dream. They are making millions of dollars daily. Well, not daily, but weekly or every month. They're adding a few $1,000,000 when Bitcoin going up and then goes down. Oh, it crashed again. And then Bitcoin comes up and then goes down. It's another crash. Oh my goodness. And everybody's saying, well, Bitcoin survived. Hey, the millionaires are making millions here. Of course they'll survive. That's their bread and butter right now. This is good. Okay? So basically that's what's going on. And and that's the difference. There's differences. That's why when you're looking at cryptocurrency, you have to be well in good understanding of what the coin is, what is its purpose and its valid value, and the perception of the market about valuation. Because if you're going to look at all cryptocurrencies like a Bitcoin, this can be like Bitcoin, that's silliness. Whoever tells you that is just silly. It's total garbage. Okay? All coins are not the same. Simple. And I just showed you two examples of two coins that operate totally different from one another. The people invested in them want them to act like Bitcoin because that's the common, the common hype that everything in crypto started with. But it's not the way crypto is going to be developed with. Okay, so not every coin, and in truth and honesty, I think that only one coin will ever make it big. If one coin ever will reach 1 million, it'll be Bitcoin, and it'll be based on speculation because I mean, even an ounce of gold with all of its solid value never reached a million an ounce. I mean, that's not how value happens to what is value, right? It's going to be like XRP. XRP, like in a few generations, maybe it'll be like gold is today. Maybe, you know? But I say a few generations may happen early. It depends how the technology advances, how society advances. A lot of factors. But if I were between just those two coins, if you were going to ask me which one will be more like gold in the future, well, XRP, because XRP is more stable as a value, is closer to something with a real value, has a real use. That would be worldwide in that sense, right? In the way they're going to use it, so it just makes sense. A lot of the reasons they use to hype XRP, like I said, it's more of a reason to see value in XRP, but not as a Bitcoin going up to $1 million. Simply because the only way that's going to happen, $1 million on any coin, is really through speculation, not on true value. So that is what we have to look at and then consider. All right, so I don't want to belabor that point now. Just to give you also an update on the Spaceparium coin that I'm developing. I'm developing a crypto too. Look at that. And that is going to be a in-game usage for people using it. And again, when I say in-game, remember that our game is hybrid, so it's real life and game. So we're combining real life with games. So there's going to be a real life use of the Spaceparium coin, but it's going to be mostly by people who are involved in the game in one way or another. So it is game centered. And so therefore that is its value. Its value is because it has value not just in a game, but for those who are involved with the game and who play the game, participants in the game environment. So that's a real value that it will have, but it's not going to be open to the market. It's not going to be available on any coin markets or anything. That's not the purpose of it at all. But it will have inherent value, which makes it different than most of these other coins in their sum total. In any case, that's what's going on for that. So I'll leave it here. Those are the announcements. Give me about 3 weeks, guys, to get over everything and to help my mother and help her get situated and coming down to be with us here. And then I'll be back to a regular schedule. Things may change. I'll have to change my studio possibly, and because she'll maybe be coming in before we can obtain new property. I'm going to see about getting a bigger home in by next year. So we'll be looking at that. So things are going to be changed. It's going to be, I mean, I'm suffering from lack of viewership, at least on YouTube and things like that. And I'm not going to worry too much about it because simply there's things happening. So I'm going to be getting interrupted and having to move my operations and stuff like that. So that's life. So I'm not going to have a headache over that either. I'm still dealing with the accident that messed it up basically. So at this point, I've just thrown up the papers and said, whatever. That's basically where I'm at now. Whatever. Because my plans were dashed in the accident. The scheduling was dashed in the accident. I have no idea. So it doesn't matter anymore. And except that I have the feelings for it and now, but it's overshadowed with my loss and my mother's aging. She's aging. No, she's aging, but she's already aged. She's older than my father. So what can you expect? So it's not going to be an easy time for me. But we all have to go through it. That's it. All right, guys, take care. And I'm going through. We'll go through, and I'll see you guys in maybe a next broadcast if I can muster it. If not, as you can see, everything's going to be tainted. It was first tainted by my accident, and now it's tainted by my loss, and then thinking about future losses and things like that. There's no end for me, at least in the near future. So we'll just have to get through with this and, prepare for these things in your life emotionally. I say this as a psychotherapist. I help other people as a minister as well with their losses and things like that. And, we'll get through like everyone else did. I told everyone else to do it, so I got to do it myself now, right? All right. Take care. Have a blessed day. You be blessed. You're special. You know why I know that? Because you watched me. That makes you a special person. I can tell you that right off the bat because I'm not easy to look at. Take care and be blessed. Amen.